Welcome back to my continuing series of every Easter egg / tradition within the College Football 25 intros. Today we're covering the Big Ten, which actually has 18 schools and some of the most unique and interesting traditions in all of college football. So let's get the sponsorship out of the way and then get into it. Quick, what's the hardest thing about being in shape? Some will say getting in the gym, but almost everyone will say diet. That's where Factor comes in with delicious, healthy, fresh, never frozen, chef-crafted, and dietitian-approved meals that are ready to eat in 2 minutes. With popular options like keto, protein plus, vegan or veggie, Factor makes meal prep and diets aligned to your goals easy. I am constantly looking for high-protein, low-calorie meals, and Factor has me covered. There are 35 plus meals to choose from every week with over 60 add-on options. And their juices and smoothies are delicious. I know my work in the gym isn't being ruined by a crap diet. This is one of the best deals out there. Compared to takeout, Factor is easily cheaper and outright better for you. And no delivery fees or tipping. So after this video, head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 5points50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month of orders. Again, that's factor75.com from the link below and use code 5points50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month of orders. Washington, Alaska Airlines Field at Husky Stadium. Okay, a ton of Easter eggs right off the bat from UW. First, you have Harry the Husky, the furry, dressed up version of the mascot, which debuted in 1995. Later in the intro, we see Dubs 2, the live mascot, which leads the team out onto the field. This pupper is part of an over 100-year tradition that started in 1922 of having Alaskan Malamutes rep the Huskies. In 2008, the dogs started leading the team out of the tunnel for every home game. There have been 14 of these dogs in the 100-year history. Also, they have the students throwing up the West Side symbol. Just kidding, they have been doing that since 2008 and nobody has been shot yet. Oregon, Autzen Stadium. First, we have the Oregon Duck, who looks a lot like Donald Duck. That's because the former AD Leo Harris had a relationship with Disney and they let Oregon use it, an agreement that has since been modified. Fun fact, before they were called the Ducks, Oregon teams used to be called the Webfoots. Yeah, that doesn't sound intimidating at all. Next, you see the Duck on a motorcycle leading the team out for the tunnel, but strapped to a dude riding the motorcycle. For 23 years, the Harley was ridden by local Doug Koch, or Koch, aka the leader of the Quack, but he retired in 2022. Before that, it was Pro Football Hall of Famer and alumnus Gary Zimmerman, who first rode it in 1997. And lastly, we have the famous Oregon cheerleaders, who generally wear a lot less than this on the sidelines, you know, for recruiting purposes. Wisconsin, Camp Randall Stadium. Unfortunately, jump around is not in the game, probably a licensing thing, but Wisco has a few Easter eggs in their opening. There is a tiny banner in the run out that references jump around though. Blink and you'll miss it. That ritual happens between the third and the fourth quarters, and admittedly, it is pretty lit. So they have the Badger mascot on the field and them touching a sign that says, "The road to the championship starts here." I hope they aren't talking about a natty, since they have never won one of those. The crowd throws up the W's made with their hands, unlike UW's gangster signs. Minnesota, Huntington Bank Stadium. This intro is pretty bland, probably because it's so bitter freaking cold in Minnesota. They just want to get the game over with in the freezing stadium. One Easter egg is Skyuma on the back of the Golden Gophers helmet, which is a school phrase that started in 1884 by some Minnesota rugby players who copied it from the Dakota tribe. It was originally Skyu, which means victory in Dakota. Ma was added to make it rhyme with Ra. I didn't know that, and I doubt you do either. Rutgers, SHI Stadium. Not many Easter eggs for where the alleged first game of college football took place at Rutgers. Yes, Piscataway, New Jersey. Nowadays, the area is known for producing interesting smells. The announcers referenced that first game in 1869 that started this whole mess off.
Welcome to the birthplace of college football.
Michigan State, Spartan Stadium. Now nicknamed the Woodshed because that's what current head coach Mel Tucker wanted it to be called. And this is a pretty bland intro. Mel Tucker started calling it the Woodshed in 2021, presumably because that's where you take someone to go give them a whooping. At the end, we have Sparty, one of the better mascot costumes in college football, and he's obviously on trend. Northwestern Lanny and Sharon Martin Stadium. Surprisingly, a few traditions here for a team that isn't really good at football. The fans throw up the claw gesture, which I guess is meant to intimidate the opposing team, but it looks like they are a cat hanging off of a balcony. Then the players touch a wooden sign that says, "Trust yourself." This started in 1999 and was brought over from Miami by late head coach Randy Walker. That's generally good advice, as trusting others is dumb. Illinois Memorial Stadium. This might be the most nondescript intro in the game, given that the Illini aren't really known for their football. The only distinct thing I can even see is the orange smoke flare. My mind is blown. Indiana, also Memorial Stadium. This one is actually inaccurate. The opening scene has the players coming out of the tunnel, touching Hep's Rock, a huge limestone that is a tribute to late head coach Terry Hepner, who passed in 2007. The rock was actually moved this year from the end zone to outside of the stadium so that everyone, players, coaches, and fans, can also see and touch the rock. It was originally installed in 2005 and it was found at the practice field. The two holes in the rock are an homage to your mom. Nebraska Memorial Stadium at Tom Osborne Field. This one starts with the mascot Herbie Husker throwing up the bones, aka crossing his arms, a shout out to the Nebraska Skull and Bones logo that the team uses. Players and fans also throw the bones up after a big play. Then in the tunnel walk, the players touch a horseshoe, which was placed there around 1973 and is simply called the Lucky Horseshoe. The origin of it isn't quite clear. During the tunnel walk on actual game day, they play Alan Parsons Sirius, which isn't used in the game, again, because of licensing. Maryland SECU Stadium. Boy, the game missed an opportunity to show the upgraded tunnel at SECU Stadium, which has a turtle-shaped roof and a statue of Testudo, which is the name of both the statue and the school's mascot. The statue in the tunnel is actually a replica of a larger one on campus, and the tunnel statue was placed here in 1992. UCLA, the Rose Bowl. A surprisingly dull intro other than Joe Bruin on the field and Reese Davis doing the UCLA chant.
UCLA, UCLA.
There's really not much to this one. And yes, UCLA joined the Big Ten as a Pac-12 refugee. Purdue, Ross-Ade Stadium. All right, we got two pretty good ones here. First off, we start with the banging of the world's largest drum. And no, world's largest drum isn't a nickname for your mom. Just kidding, it is. The drum has been around since 1921 and weighs 315 pounds, just like your mom. Other drums have claimed the title of world's largest, but the big bass drum was the biggest at the time it was built. Then you see some jabronis on a cart named the Boilermaker Extra Special, which is a replica steam engine and is part of a long line of Boilermaker specials, some of which were on truck chassis. This is actually the school's official mascot, one of the few to have an inanimate object instead of some fluffy ass bear or furry or some shit. USC, Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. I guess the animation team ran out of budget as the announcers mentioned Traveler, which is a white horse that comes out to start every home game, but then they only showed the Trojan stabbing the 50 to open the game. Traveler the horse has been around since 1961, and I would assume that the armored rider has been doing his pregame ceremony since. Interesting fact, he is just called the rider. There is no official name to this Trojan. Penn State, Beaver Stadium. This one has the Nittany Lion, which looks like an old school Halloween costume from Walmart, opening the gates and unleashing the players. The game actually did license the song Kerncraft 400 by Zombie Nation, to which the crowd chants, "We are Penn State," during the breaks. This tradition started in 2005. Kerncraft 400 means nuclear power in German.
You take care of business. As we'll see a squad from the MAC, the Bowling Green Falcons, taking on...
Admittedly, this looks like a pretty electric entrance. Iowa, Niall Kinnick Stadium. Pretty cool traditions here. The Iowa players hold hands during their walkout, called the Swarm, which started in 1979 by Hayden Fry, who stressed unity for his team. They also show the Children's Hospital, which was built in 2017, and the entire stadium does the wave to the sick and recovering children in the building, which overlooks the stadium. The gesture happens at the end of the first quarter and is actually included in the game. Okay, pretty cool. It might be getting dusty in here. Ohio State, Ohio Stadium. This one obviously had to show the Ohio State Marching Band, a huge ensemble known for their creative performances. They have over 228 student musicians in the band, and they do pull off some pretty amazing things. At the end is Brutus the Buckeye, a mascot which has its head made out of a nut, which is how most young men think. And finally, our last college football intro slash Easter egg slash tradition explanation, whatever, it's a clickbait title, I get it. Michigan, Michigan Stadium. All right, they have the official Michigan fight song for the intro, The Victors, a song very distinct and noteworthy. Then the players touch the M Club banner at the 50-yard line, which was first unveiled in 1962 and is maintained by the letter winners M Club, a group of members who all lettered at Michigan, and they are a booster. They probably give an inordinate amount of money to the program, so they better get a fucking banner in return. So the story goes, in 1962, Michigan started with a 1-5 record, and the head coach let the M Club, comprising past letter winners, line up in the first two rows, and then the team went out and beat Illinois, and the tradition stuck. There you have it. Which conference should I do next? Comment down below, and please subscribe. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to my next video.